Segment 1, The Broken Promise of 40 Acres and a Mule. Welcome back to the Red Cobblestone Road. Come, walk with me. Let's tell the truth about 40 acres and a mule. First, this was not really Lincoln's program. The phrase comes out of the Civil War's final months, but the actual policy began with General William Tecumseh Sherman's Special Field Orders No. 15, issued on January 16, 1865. Sherman set aside a strip of coastal land in South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida for settlement by formerly enslaved black families, in parcels of up to 40 acres. The Freedmen's Bureau also had authority to manage confiscated and abandoned land and help freed people become self-sufficient. That matters because people often talk about 40 acres and a mule like it was just a rumor, just a slogan, just some vague dream black people invented. No, it was rooted in a real wartime order, backed by the power of the Union Army, and thousands of freed people actually began settling on that land. This was not fantasy. It was a real opening toward black land ownership at the very moment slavery was being broken, and understand what land meant in that moment. Land was not symbolic. Land was not emotional. Land was not a speech. Land meant the chance to feed your family. Land meant the chance to build wealth. Land meant the chance to stand up without begging. Land meant the difference between freedom with substance and freedom with nothing under it. That is why this was so important. After slavery, black people did not just need legal freedom. They needed a material base. They needed something to stand on. And land was the clearest, hardest, most practical form of power available in that moment. Then came the reversal. Lincoln was assassinated in April 1865. The man who followed him was Andrew Johnson. And Johnson, a Democrat, was the one who effectively tore his promise apart. In May 1865, he issued amnesty and restoration policies that returned property rights to many former Confederates who took loyalty oaths. Then, through the Freedmen's Bureau system, the government began restoring much of the land that freed people had been working or expected to receive back to former white owners. That is where the betrayal becomes real, because the same federal government that had helped open the door now helped close it. The Freedmen's Bureau had tried, for a short moment, to move land toward freed people, but Circular No. 15, approved under Johnson's policy, rescinded the earlier direction and allowed abandoned lands held by the Bureau to be restored to owners pardoned by the president. It did say crops already being cultivated by freed people should be protected or compensated, but the larger point was clear. The land itself was being handed back. So, say it plainly, Sherman opened the door. Andrew Johnson slammed it shut. That is not rhetoric. That is the history. Freed people who had started to believe that emancipation might come with an economic foundation were forced to watch that foundation being pulled back toward the very class that had supported slavery. Johnson's restoration policy told former Confederates, in effect, that their property rights mattered more than the freed people's path to independence. And that is why 40 acres and a mule became one of the deepest wounds in American history, because it was not just a promise not fulfilled. It was a real opening that was reversed. It was freedom teased and then thinned out. It was a people brought to the edge of self-sufficiency and then pushed back into dependence. That matters for everything that came after. Because if black families had secured land on a broad scale in 1865 and 1866, the economic history of this country might look very different. Land could have become inheritance. Inheritance could have become businesses, schools, capital, and intergenerational stability. Instead, much of that possibility was broken at the beginning of Reconstruction. So the real line is this: 40 acres and a mule was not just about land. It was about whether freedom would come with substance. Andrew Johnson helped make sure for many freed people that it would not. That is why people still say it today. Not because it is a slogan, because it is a scar. Thanks for walking with me today on the red cobblestone road. Like, share, and comment.
The red cobblestone road